My name is Simpson of Complex. This is the Black Music Save Me Roundtable discussion. I'm joined here by Hitmaka, Symba, Breland. Fellas, how we feeling?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, hanging there amongst everything going on. I'm glad to have this conversation with y'all. I'm glad to be here with such talented artists. Fellas, first question, as Black men, as Black artists, how have each of you been dealing with your mental health and well-being during this time? Hitmaka, I'll start with you.
Personally, for me, I just been, just centered in on what's going on currently, like dealing with all the issues as well. But I've been trying to just stay working, you know what I'm saying? And not get too distracted, because like I honestly believe that like headlines, and if you watch the news all day or you stay on social media all day, then it can really bleed into your real life or whatever what's going on. So I'm just trying to stay positive and just provide positive energy, you know what I'm saying, for everybody that I ever bump into and come in contact with, you know what I'm saying, with we not being able to come in contact with nobody for real. That's why we on a Zoom call, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But just trying to stay focused, man. That's all I'm on.
Definitely. Symba, how about you, man?
Man, I would pretty much say the same thing Hit just said, bro. I've pretty much been taking time to really do a lot of shit that I ignore. You know what I mean? I put a lot of reading off. I put a lot of time with my family off, because we always chasing this grind. So I really been just going back home, hanging with the family. I just had a little 8-month-old boy, so I've been spending a lot of time with him.
Congrats,
reading
man.
a lot. I just got done reading a book called The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. You know what I mean? I didn't literally have for a year and ain't picked it up. So I just been trying to tap in with a lot of things I ignore, bro.
Definitely. Breland, is that about the same for you?
Yeah, I would say about the same. Just trying to find the right balance of being informed and trying to make sure that I know what's going on so that I can inform people, but also, as Hit said and as Symba said, just taking time to myself to make sure that I'm good. Because, I mean, it's really heavy out here, and if you dedicate too much time to it, it can weigh you down, and I'm trying to make sure that I can stay on top of things.
For sure. As we continue to go through 2020 has been rough for a variety of reasons, particularly when it comes to the African-American community. We're battling a pandemic in COVID that's continuing to harm our community twice as much. Statistics show. We're also dealing with the Black Lives Matter movement as we continue to fight against social injustices. But each of you's music continues to paint a message and continues to capture what you guys are feeling emotionally. Symba, I'll start with you. 2 years ago, you had the Colin Kaepernick freestyle. Many of the things you rapped about then, we're still fighting about now. So what's the message that you continue to try and get across to your fans to let them know, and what do you hope that they take away from it?
My overall message, man, is just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and never give up, because I always like tell this story. I seen Fat Joe tell this story one time. This shit kind of stuck with me my whole life. You watch movies like The Revenant, you know what I mean, where this cat literally walking through the forest, bared and whooped his ass, you know what I mean? He on his last hope. And then right when you think you finna die, the helicopter come over and just see your pendant shining and come down and save you. So the most important thing to me is just staying in the game. You know what I mean? You never know when you're gonna get to shoot, but as long as you in the game, somebody gonna pass you the ball at one point. So I'm just always trying to stay in the game.
Sure. Breland, Forbes considered your music genre bending as it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement. They were adamant about putting that in the title. When you see publications like that attach your art form to such a powerful movement, how does that make you feel? I
mean, it feels pretty good. A lot of people from a songwriting perspective might look at me as like an R&B dude, because I've written some records for Trey and Chris and Jacquees and a lot of the R&B cats that I have a lot of respect for. But the music that I put out as an artist is more along like a country fusion, country trap, country R&B type of mixture. And so a lot of my fans and a lot of the people that listen to my music are white people, Southern white people, really super country rural dudes who a lot of times like don't know anything about Black Lives Matter and don't know anything about what's been going on. And so I think I have an extra responsibility to talk about certain things because I'm one of the very few Black people in this space. And I know that I am going to reach that audience that we want to try to reach every time, but it's so hard to do it because they only listen to a certain type of music. So the fact that my music crosses over in that way, I'm definitely inspired to make more stuff that touches on these issues.
Definitely. Hitmaker, congratulations, man. I recently saw on your Instagram over 20 years since your first label deal, which is incredible. You know, not a lot of people in any genre space can celebrate 2 decades of work. At what point did you start to realize that Black music was becoming popular music as opposed to just like hip hop?
I always knew it from the jump, to be honest. And I think that when people started to really recognize it is when pop acts started to have to go get the rap act on their single to make it seem palatable for people that of our color, or you know, that to really love the music. To me, I purposely like I'm really fighting, like I'm really on like a tear right now, like to just be like, I don't even like urban, the term urban either. Like how ASCAP took it off or other people took it. What is urban? Why is a white man ahead of urban? Let's just be clear about what we doing, you know what I'm saying, and what we got going on. I think that as like us just being Black and just really running the country right now musically and doing the world, it's just more so about all the opportunities that we didn't have at first, we need to take advantage of right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm really more so focused on, and just trying to really figure out how to translate that to everybody inside the office building, inside all these different buildings, just for us to be understood for real.
Is it more so wanting execs that kind of look like you and can relate to your background and understand where you're coming from?
Nah, I don't think that it's more so like a personal attack on anybody, because there are a lot of Black execs that I love. Like I love Dallas, I love Monterey, I love all the different people that are in these seats right now currently. But at the same token, it's been years of this. You know what I'm saying? We talking about, like, name me anybody on this call, name me somebody that's been the CEO of but with the exception of the lovely Sylvia Rohn, it's only been Sylvia and L.A. Reid since I've been able to know music or make music.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless we go back to like Berry Gordy.
And that's Motown. That was like doo-wop, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you wasn't even born when Berry Gordy was calling shots.
For real.
For sure.
No, but that's a great segue right there, Breland, because I also want to talk about Black music and culture just in general in the lifespan, especially how it pertains to each of you. Symba, you from the Bay Area. Hitmaker, obviously, we talked about your career and the different types of artists you work with. And Breland, we talked about the different demographics which your fan base may be. As far back as y'all can remember, what was the first point in time where you realized like Black music was special?
I mean, for me, like, it was never a moment Black music wasn't special. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom told me, like, I was conceived of Marvin Gaye. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was never a time. That was what I grew up on, bro. I remember being 2 years old and my mom trying to teach me, you gotta be strong. You gotta be, you know what I mean? Like, she trying to teach me these things and make me memorize the song. So for me, I kind of got a late start in music because I only thought Black music was the only thing that existed for a while.
Right.
And it wasn't until I got a little older that I started learning about other artists and other genres and everything like that, because I was just so invested in Black music.
Definitely. Breland, is that the same type of experience for you?
Yeah, I mean, both of my parents are actually ordained ministers, so I came up on a lot of gospel music. And gospel music is some of the Blackest music there is. The whole audience, the whole everyone who sings it, the way that they play the instruments and the chords, and Hitmaker, you know, there's something real when it comes to these chords, these gospel chords. Like, Black people, we feel that because there's a soul and a spirit to it. So I grew up just kind of understanding that Black people's relationship to music was special and was just different. Whether it's from a gospel perspective or from a blues perspective or a jazz perspective. And as I've started to branch out into other genres, like even country, the use of the banjo is credited to Black people. We brought that to the genre. The genre would not exist if it were not for the contributions of Black people. So, you know, I've always had a firm understanding that we do this for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. If you look at some of the more prominent genres in American music culture, they all derive from Black people at some point in time. So, you know, it's just our culture has always run through it. Hitmaker, from your perspective, we were talking about music history, and obviously some of your biggest records include samples. So whenever you're doing that process and going through that, are you trying to shine light on acts of years past that maybe didn't get the recognition that they deserved, or is it just some of your personal favorite songs?
Yeah, I think that personally, it's just the music that I love. Like, I grew up on a lot of these songs that I'm sampling, so like they personally have like affected my life. So like, even like, I'll give an example, like a Wiz Khalifa, Something New. Like that record, it went viral on TikTok or whatever. Like when I first got my job with Atlantic, I'm like, this is the shit. Like this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a hit record. And we put it out and it didn't get the recognition it was supposed to receive, in my personal opinion. But that record, the whole creation, I ain't gonna lie, I was in my crib and I was watching Unsung. Like I was like half sleep, half awake, you know what I'm saying? Laying in the bed, Unsung was on. And Donnell Jones had a record called In the Hood that he did, and he used a Computer Love sample, and he did that whole vibe. I called Ayo and Keys the morning when I woke up. I'm like, I'm going to the studio in 6 hours. They sent me back several different vibes that would be able to kind of like lock in and beat together. That same day, I literally wrote the song. Ty Dolla $ign came in 3 minutes after the song was done. Cut the hook, cut the verse, did all that. Then Wiz stumbled in the studio like as soon as Ty left. And then the song was created like that. You know what I'm saying? It all happened the same way. Like the creation of the beat and every vocal, the writing the song and every vocal on the song happened that day in like 12 hours.
That's incredible. Wow. That's incredible. You guys all mentioned a little bit earlier about the ins and outs and the workings of the music industry. As Black men, as Black artists, as Black creators, what's something that you hope changes in like the next 5 to 10 years in the music industry that you feel like would be beneficial to us as African Americans?
I would say kind of what Hit just said, as far as getting more people of color in these rooms. I'm an artist that came to the label without a following. You know what I mean? I'm still developing my following. And I'm pretty sure if Dallas wasn't in there, a lot of people wouldn't have understood it. You know what I mean? He's seen past the numbers and everything. He just identified with, nah, I fuck with this dude. You know what I mean? And now other people are seeing it and it's starting to come together. And I feel like if he wasn't someone that identifies with the background I come from, he would have never been able to see that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just getting more people of color in these rooms is what I would say.
Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead, bro.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I got to unmute myself every time.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely matters who's in the rooms. I think also it matters like just representation across the board. We need Black people in house music. We need Black people in rock music. We need Black people everywhere, because if we look at the roots and the origins, as I said before, you know, it's Black people all through that. And so when you don't see Black people in any of those genres that our sauce is all over, you know, we're kind of not getting any of the credit for all of the work that we put in to make certain things happen. So when we look at, you know, Lil Richard passed, and he's one of the fathers of rock and roll. It's not a whole lot of Black rock artists right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to see us get back into all of the different things that we've been doing from the beginning of time, and hopefully that representation will make a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I think that most importantly right now, to me personally, a lot of people want to like make it like a race thing. It is a race thing because it's Black Lives Matter and everything that's going on. But at the same token, let's just all be accountable for everything that we do as just people. You know what I'm saying? And they don't got to do nothing with color, where you from or whatever. Just be held accountable for your own actions. And as well, to just try and just be a better person. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you think about it, like, I think a lot of people in these positions that have these jobs are worried about their job. So they might not go in there and wave the flag and stand on, you know what I'm saying, top of the desk and say, yo, we need to put this out immediately, because if they do that and they rub the people the wrong way, then their job is at risk. So to me personally, it need to be more creatives, people like myself that actually make the music, that actually have the jobs inside of the culture, because one, you can resonate with the fact of it, yo, this guy knows how to make records. This guy he's been on each side of the table. He's executive now, but he also knows what it's like to be a creative as well. And I can really see more artists gravitating towards the creatives being in power more so than just somebody that's had a job that's been nepotism into the business. Man, fuck analytics, man. I'm sick of these motherfuckers sitting at the computer telling me something streaming or something like that. Even though I love streams, man, I done did over 6 billion streams with the people that I work with. I'm not hating on streaming, but we can't break a new artist based on analytics. I don't give a fuck if it takes 6 months for Symba or Breland's record to catch at radio and to go top 10. Let's continue to work that radio. People are thinking about music and they thinking about records, and they're taken away from the fact of when we first got in this shit, it wasn't no Spotify, it wasn't no Apple Music, it was goosebump factor. Did I hear this record? Did I love it? Did I want to hear it again? Like, this is the bullshit that people be doing, man. Like, so I think that we got to stop chasing analytics. Fuck analytics, and let's go ahead. If we really believe, or don't sign an artist. It's these people's lives. If you don't think that you want to risk your career on this artist, then don't sign him.
Right.
I don't give a fuck if he booking shows everywhere and he's the biggest tour. If you don't want to put your whole career on the line for this artist, this is man's life. This is woman's life. If you don't want to do that, then fuck it. And you need to be fired. Get out the seat.
Yeah. No, I'm sure that has to be super frustrating because a lot of times your career kind of gets put into a box of what's the numbers, what was the results, and like you said, it's kind of like you mentioned with that record with Wiz. It initially take off like you wanted to at first, but then it became a viral sensation through TikTok. You know what I'm saying? But had they just focused on the numbers early on. Yeah, and fellas, I really appreciate y'all joining me for this conversation. I feel like this conversation was useful. It was needed. It's good to just get into your mindset and see what y'all got cooking up. And like I mentioned before, it seemed like it's going to be nothing but great things. So fellas, I appreciate y'all joining me.
No, definitely appreciate you for having me, bro.
No doubt.